Okay, so there have been some crazy new Fortnite leaks by HypeX on Twitter that have really explained something amazing, and I honestly can't wait. Well, actually, HypeX linked this back to Sheena, but Sheena said, updates on the return of Fortnite Chapter 1. Chapter 1 is the new core mode of Fortnite. It will be released after Fortnite Chapter 6. It will not replace Chapter 6, but both modes will coexist, which is always something I really wanted because Chapter 1 is so cool from the graphics from, like, to be honest, I think a lot of people are in denial about this. New Chapter 6 or Chapter 5 graphics will look so good on the Chapter 1 map, and it kind of shows because in my previous video that I did on Chapter 1, the game just looks so good, like from the lighting, from the effects, to just everything. It just looked amazing. Some people were confused about this news, so here's some additional information. And then this is the next tweet: Fortnite Chapter 1 returns next month. All Chapter 1 seasons will return. The seasons will return monthly, expected at the Game Awards. Builds and zero build, which is something we always want. Completely OG loot pool. Now this is genuinely awesome. I bet all of you can't wait for this and you're going to be hella excited. But what if I told you you could still kind of play Chapter 1? But last time when we explored this, it was during the Season 4 map. And today I found something a lot more cooler because it actually builds upon this, and I'll show you this in a second. But before we go into this, if you guys could give me a like and a subscribe if you enjoy my content, that would be fantastic. So yeah, we're going to be going into the Season 6 playground map. Now this is awesome because not only are you going to be able to explore, like in the past, the old Chapter 6 map, but you're also going to be able to play this with friends and with people in public servers, which is so awesome. Now for the sake of this video, I'm going to be going into a private match, not a public one, but you can always play this with your friends, or you can even 1v1 in this map, and it's really cool because, you know, always having that OG setting really gives us that feeling of OG Fortnite. And to be honest, if you ask me, like as a player of this game for a very long time, I think Chapter 1 wasn't likable because of the nostalgia. I mean, yes, it's partly nostalgia, and some people may think that way, and that's totally okay. But Chapter 1 was just so awesome because all of the guns were super iconic. There wasn't too many collabs, which made the game fall apart with its identity. Even though I love the collabs, I just think there should be kind of like that main story again, like they did with Carbide and Omega in Season 4, for example. But anyway, without further ado, this is kind of the same as last time, except we've got a couple of new inclusions. Now, we've obviously got these areas that were in Season 6. This is super awesome. We've got the inclusion of Paradise Palms, which is something that we've always wanted to see. We've also got like these llamas and like these things that I think are in Chapter 6. They're already in Chapter 5 already, which I've already seen. But yeah, people have been building stuff. What is going on here? I don't know if this was originally in OG Fortnite, but I'm pretty sure I remember this. I don't know if this has been slightly modified, but if it is, this looks super cool. Like, I love this so much. Okay, so as you load into this map, it may be slightly laggy because it's trying to load in all of the objects at the same time. And this map is a lot more intensive because you've obviously got the floating island, you've got all of these purple zones, which, you know, and obviously you've got the zombies. The zombies are... Actually, I want to go check those out. Obviously, I just love flying. This was super cool, but also kind of try-hardy because you'd always find people just continuously just flying around and then shooting. But it was also such a great way to get away from people because, like, obviously, there were a lot of tryhards, and there still are, but I think the tryhards have gone down quite a bit ever since the release of Chapter 5. But yeah, you got the zombies. This is super cool, so if you ever want to be fighting against zombies, you can always do that. They've also gotten rid of the sprint, and there's no slide, which is super cool because I like it kind of being, you know, loyal to the old kind of Fortnite. I also love that there's glider redeploy because I've always wanted that. Obviously, we've got the AR, you can fight zombies. Super, super cool. I love that we've got stink bombs too. A part of me really hated the zombies because every time you would try and fight someone, there'd be just zombies just chasing you like crazy. One thing that I hope one of these map creators can do is bring back the old animations. Now, I know that's very difficult because of the way that Fortnite is made through its engine, but that would be so awesome if we can get the old animations back. Because I have a feeling Epic won't bring back those old animations unless they do, which would be awesome. But if you guys see what I mean, like, this game looks so much more polished. Like, it feels like there's a fresh coat of paint every time that we see these new graphics, and the inclusion of the zombies just makes it like you can pick what season you want to go to. And if they're able to replicate this for like Season 8 or Season 9 or even Season X with the mechs, that would be awesome because I get that the mechs were a very annoying addition to the game, but I sort of miss them. Like, they have like a special place in my heart, even though I still wildly hate them. But obviously we've got Lazy Links. This was like one of my most favorite places to land, mainly because of the fact that you could play golf, and it was just super awesome to just go around, play golf, and then sometimes if like other players that were trying to fight you would just see you playing golf, they would always just join in. It was just like a thing that kept Fortnite players so central, unless you were playing during the time where they released the competition where there was like tournaments, and that's when people started to get really sweaty. Even simple things from like the way the water sounds, like it just sounds so much better than before because like there's so much more polish with this original engine. I am honestly clueless on how they were able to make the hotbar, and like the way the health looks just super awesome. Like, oh look, you've even got ATKs. Oh, these things were awesome. I love this. Oh, I also love how they've kept the original UI for it as well. Oh, look at this. We've got porta fortresses. Let's pick these up. I also like how now you just press the vending machine and you don't have to hold it anymore like last time. But see, we've got all of the old weapons. This pump was my favorite weapon because you could do so much damage with it. I remember there was one time in season 6 where they made the pump do 200 damage, and oh my god, it was so good. It was literally the most best time of Fortnite until they removed it one day later, and it was super annoying. If you guys know what I'm talking about, please leave it in the comments. But I do remember a time where the pump was just one-shotting everyone, and then they got rid of it because people were crying about it. Then we've got the double barrel shotgun. I know we just saw that in the vending machine, but just another friendly reminder that that exists in the game. We're not even going to talk about it because I didn't really like the double barrel shotgun. It was like super unreliable. Yeah, Porta Fortress, super cool. I thought I was going to have infinite of those, which I was going to spam like crazy, but unfortunately we can't do that. Now I did leave my ATK over there, so let's go and get that back. Oh look, and I totally forgot, it was called Leaky Lake, and obviously you got Kevin the Cube. I'm not sure if you guys have seen that TikTok of that guy freaking out over Kevin the Cube, but like, why? Now, I want to go back to one of those zombie spots. Can I place a marker? It's not letting me place a marker, like, at all. Okay, so it doesn't let you place markers, which is kind of unfortunate. Oh, no, you can't. You literally can't at all. You can only place markers when you're looking at the ground, so if any of the devs that have made this map are watching this, try and fix the markers, because they don't work. Oh, another thing, you can do power slides. I completely forgot about this. If I'm being honest, I think the best season of Fortnite was Season 7. And if they're able to bring that, that would be awesome. Because I think the best part of that was how many vehicles were in the game at that time. So you got to think about it. We had shopping carts. We had ATKs, ATVs. I think there was... Or actually, I might even say Season 8 because there was also the addition of Ballers, because I think Frosty Flights was one of the coolest places that they added in Fortnite because of just how expansive the map was. You had the desert place, you had the rain, you had the grassland, and then you also had like kind of like the dusty areas around the grasslands, but then you also had the snow zone, and we need more snow in Fortnite, but like kind of like the way that Chapter 1 did it, I think it was just perfect during that time. Now we're making our way through Pleasant Park. Man, I miss these ATKs so much. I also just hate the fact that they've added fuel for like all of the vehicles. Like I kind of miss when Fortnite had that charm, like when like these were the only things you could drive, because now you can just go up to any car and drive it, which I like in Chapter 5. Like I really love the vehicles in Chapter 5, but I think Chapter 2, I didn't really like the vehicles. I just think they look a little bit cheap, but I think the ones in Chapter 5 are just awesome. By the way, that's just my opinion. This video is so much easier to make because I have the car that can get around everywhere. And drop a like if you want ATKs to return, because it's gonna happen. We're gonna get ATKs back, and I think even though the seasons are monthly, we're going to keep the things that were in the previous season. So for example, when we go back to Chapter 1 Season 7, we're going to be still keeping all of the things from the previous seasons, which is going to be awesome. So obviously we've got tilted towers, we've also got like the broken building. This is super awesome. I love the fact that they've still kept that kind of eerie feeling around Tilted. It's just super cool. You also notice that everything just looks a little bit more polished because of like the way that the fog is working. Because in the previous versions of Fortnite, fog didn't always work very well, but because of like the whole eerie feeling of Halloween, this definitely does look awesome. Now obviously we've got the iconic locations like Salty Springs, and then we've got Dusty Divot, but I've already seen these before, so we're going to go to another area, and you can probably guess where that is. Now, another motive for coming to Salty Springs was not only to grab one of these ATKs, no, ATVs, they're called ATVs, but you could also, if I'm not mistaken, yep, there is a shopping cart right there. So it's really awesome that every location, no matter how small it looked, you always had some sort of vehicle. That's what I loved about Season 7, like, you could get a plane, you could get an ATK, you could get a snowboard. Actually, I'm pretty sure the snowboards were introduced in Chapter 8, I'm not entirely sure. But regardless, I just loved how in Season 7, you had so many different, like, availabilities of mobility. Look at that, we've even got a llama. Let's crack this open. Tell me in the comments, did you guys always just open the llama or did you break it? Now, me personally, I would always break the llama because I knew someone would just destroy me if I did it. We've even got the fabled fatal fields, such an awesome, like, we've even got like the Halloween decorations. I think this is one of, like, there was like a challenge here. I remember there was definitely like a battle star during the old seasons, but this was super cool. I loved how there were so many additions in Halloween as well. Like, they put so much effort into just making everything super spooky. I just loved that whole addition. One thing I would have loved though is that if they were to make, oh my god, they did! That is so cool. I was actually thinking, right, imagine if they made the house like an abandoned manor, and they did, and it's just super awesome. Like, even like got like the witch outside. Kind of reminds you of something out of a horror film. And obviously over there you've got Flush Factory, you've got the other factories, you've also got Lucky Landing, which is super awesome, but this was the old place where everyone used to land. This was the old place where everyone used to land in Season 5, and it was just like the most awesomest place ever, because the best thing that I personally liked about Paradise Palms was, first off, it had good high ground, but also the high ground was so close. So, for example, if you were here, you could fight someone over there. Or if you were over there, you could snipe someone from over here, and you could just have so many cool little fights, and it was just so awesome. But then you also had this place where you could kind of hide if you felt kind of intimidated. One thing that was kind of bad, though, is that if you had a final circle in Paradise Palms, you had a much harder fight. I don't know, there was just always just like this, there was always like this nervousness inside me. Like, Chapter 1, they brought out some different nerves that I never thought I had. You've even got the famous ice cream truck. I mean, this is just so cool. I think the number one building I always used to land was definitely this building. I remember just like always landing here because not many people landed in this building, but you'd always find that odd person that would land here and then you'd fight over the one chest that was here. I'm pretty sure there's only one chest. Yeah, it's the chest here. And we got the pumpkin launcher. That's pretty awesome. I honestly missed the pumpkin launcher so much. It was just so fun. Man, I love how spooky Fortnite used to be. Like, even just like this, one thing I miss about Fortnite was how spooky it used to be. Like, this is so eerie. Like, just imagine, right, you're just walking here and then any moment you could either be 90'd on or sniped, and it's just super scary. You've also got the famous racetrack, which you would always play races with your friends. Like, or even just like random people that you would meet in this game, you just always race with them. That was like the funnest thing that I always used to do whenever this season came out. But I will say though that this was definitely the most sweatiest place in Paradise Palms. Like, for some reason, like, all of the sweats would land here. I remember playing in Season 5 and then always just finding people just always like cranking nines. Like, you'd always find people just shooting from long range or just like going crazy heights or even trying to start build fights here. One thing that new Fortnite brought, which I really loved, was vaulting, like the ability to like jump all the way up there. And I completely forgot about this. Like, we gotta try this. We gotta try boost all the way up. Oh, do you guys remember when you would just get so many skill points? I remember one thing I used to do was boost all the way across the map with balloons on my teammate. And it would just be so cool to see how far you could go. I think one time I got 500,000 points. Let me know if you guys missed these, because I missed them too. Like, I really want these ATVs back in the game. You can also get some really cool shots on these. Like, if you had a hand cannon or even a hunting rifle if you're like a super professional player. But hitting shots on this thing was so fun. Alright, let's see how far we can make it across Dusty Divot. Woo! Oh, that was absolutely terrible. I'm honestly like curious to find out what happens when you defeat these enemies. Like, what do they give you? By the way, just giving you a couple tips from the professional of Chapter 1. I've previously retired because like I'm nowhere near as good as I used to be. But you don't always have to aim down your sight. Just you can always just hold your shoot button and you don't always have to just aim. Because sometimes aiming makes it feel like you're kind of losing concentration or you're losing focus of like the amount of enemies around you rather than just focusing on one. So yeah, just doing this just lets you hit more headshots, and that's just what works for me. But if it works differently for you, then that's awesome. One thing I absolutely hate about this new movement is like I can't build nowhere near as fast. And one thing that I want to say, I don't know if this is a massive flex, but I know a lot of you guys at home would probably be using Builder Pro, but for me, I use Combat Pro. I don't know why, I just never switched. It's just something that I've always come to love. And one thing that would have been like even more rarer is if people were still using old school. but like that was just super OG. Anyway, you guys might not find this extremely impressive, and let me know if you can replicate this, but because I've been like such an OG player, I didn't really convert to Builder Pro like everybody else, and I know Builder Pro was introduced very early. I know that sounds like a very stupid excuse, but I don't know, I just never changed. I always really liked the way the game felt originally when it had Combat Pro. I might even make a video where I try Builder Pro for the first time ever, because like I've barely used it, and I'm guessing it's easier because a lot more people just casually play that, and I think that's what the game sets it to you as default. But yeah, I'm not a massive builder because there would be some guy that would build or crank 90s like crazy, and I would literally just be sitting here and then do that, and then pop, got them, and then headshot them. What really matters is just making sure you're aiming correctly. Anyway, this is not supposed to be about a video on how to get better at Fortnite. It's just the way to play without building an entire 5-star hotel with Wi-Fi. But yeah, I always thought this was impressive, being able to quad ramp whilst being on Combat Pro. Like, this at the time was very impressive, but it's just a muscle memory that you eventually get to develop. But yeah, I'm not a tryhard or a crazy player, but I think being able to do a quad ramp on Combat Pro, in my opinion, is pretty impressive. Look at that, we've even got the old house. I completely forgot that I landed there. Got the old bridge, which for some reason, every time you go and grab that chest, you'd always fall through the bridge and lose like 50 HP. That was like super annoying. Now, if you guys remember where the controversial YouTuber actually was able to film a music video in here, I think it was like, oh yeah, yeah. I can't exactly remember what it was. It was just some stupid Fortnite song that like everybody used to love. I wonder what happened to that guy though, because I haven't seen him on YouTube in a very long time. And then for the last areas of this video, we're going to be looking at, we can just look at this from afar because we kind of know what this looks like, but you've got the chair, and you've got like the old granny's house, and then you've also got Flush Factory, which was the place that I would always land. Actually, no, I'm going to land at the first place that I had always landed every single game in OG Fortnite, and I'm going to show you what that is in a second. First off, let's check out Flush Factory. Very cool place. One amazing thing I loved about Flush Factory is, I'll show you real quick. First off, there was a chest on the toilet, which was super cool. But also, there was so much stuff that used to spawn here. You would have, like, 3 shopping... and then or even more, probably. You always, like... you sometimes had an ATK that would spawn here, or you'd have an ATV, but I think for the sake of this, it's spawning the maximum amount of things that can be spawned. But yeah, honestly, I love these new graphics because it keeps like the old graphics kind of in a way, but it adds like the new effects, like the way that the trees are swaying, or like eventually when the weather grows a little bit tiresome, the weather actually makes it look natural. But yeah, for the moment you've all been waiting for, this is the exact place I used to land every single game in Season 1. Now, I don't know why there's an ATV here, because, like, I never used to remember that spawning, but you can even see my builds over there. But I always used to land here every single game without fail, because it was just such an easy spot, and you'd never always find people here. In short, I was terrible during the first season of Fortnite, so just landing here, it just felt so nostalgic. This was one spot that was never removed from the game until the introduction of Chapter 2. But yeah, I miss you, house. I miss you so much. Sometimes I'd even break the whole house down so I can get all of the materials from it. Anyway, let's use this brick to go. And I want to check on the top of the house. What do we get inside the chest? What do we get? And we get a minigun. Oh, and a fortress, which is super cool. I wonder if they've changed the minigun. Is this the old minigun or the new one? Nope, I think it's the old one. Oh, I missed this minigun so much. So yeah, that was the video for Fortnite Chapter 1. If you want to check out the original creator, then I'll leave it in the description. And also, the map code is right up there. You can see it on the top of my screen. We've got Paradise Palms, we've got all of the locations, we've got Junk Junction, Haunted Hills, Pleasant Park, Snobby Shores, Greasy Grove, Tilted Towers, Shifty Shafts, Flush Factory, Lucky Landing, Fatal Field, Salty Springs, Dusty Divot, Retail Row, Paradise Palms, Lonely Lodge, Wailing Woods, Tomato Temple, and Risky Reels. But to be honest, I miss the original Tomato Town. That was like super awesome. But yeah, just like even like the way the weather looks, oh man, it just looks so good. Thank you very much for watching. Please make sure to subscribe if you enjoyed this video, only if, because like, obviously, I want you guys to actually engage with the content rather than just subscribing for the sake of subscribing. But yeah, thanks for watching.